Welcome to the Females Across the Pond and Beyond podcast. Hi, I'm Clara.
Hi, I'm Angie. We're here to share all things email and beyond. We go through the trials and tribulations of running your own business, being your own boss, and sending your own email marketing.
As email marketing experts, we're dedicated to helping small businesses thrive so they can have more freedom in their business.
Ready to get started? Let's dive into the episode.
Hello and welcome to today's episode. So today we're going to be talking about nurture emails versus promo emails. But before we do, let's just check in with Angie to see how she's doing. How are you?
Oh my gosh, I'm doing so good. Life is super busy right now. I've got the two kiddos. We're getting ready to go into kindergarten this year, which is crazy for my 5-year-old. And the business is doing well. I've got a lot of people reaching out for flows. Flows are the hot commodity right now, I guess, for my clients, which rightfully so. I mean, flows can bring in that passive revenue for you, right? So I don't know. Everything is
Absolutely.
going fine. What about you?
Yeah, that sounds good. For me, yeah, really busy too. I am working on my course, which will be launched later this year.
Ooh.
So I'm really excited about that. And so, yeah, just putting all of that together. Um, and also doing some interesting stuff for clients, but as well as my own business as well. I've been doing a lot more on LinkedIn and trying to work out LinkedIn. I don't know.
Yeah.
It can
Um,
be a funny place, can't it?
yeah, LinkedIn honestly can be kind of intimidating, right? I mean, it's
Yeah,
very corporate-y, but for you, like if your ideal client is on LinkedIn, then that's where you should be, right?
absolutely, absolutely. I think it's all about spending time where your ideal client is. And yeah, I'm just playing around with LinkedIn at the moment, just seeing, experimenting. I think you have to, right? You have to try different things. And I've had a
You
few
end
people
up
reach out to me, so that's
Oh,
good.
good. Did you end up taking any sort of program or like getting any type of learning on LinkedIn? Because I know that there's a lot of people now that are popping up that are doing like, LinkedIn courses or programs or, helping people to promote on LinkedIn.
Yeah, there's quite a few actually. I went on a conference a couple of weeks ago, all dedicated to LinkedIn, and there's quite a few experts that were there that were sharing hot tips. I really like LinkedIn with Louise Brogan. She's very good.
Okay.
She talks about how to launch a LinkedIn newsletter, which I haven't done yet. Can you believe I haven't done that yet? Have you?
With all of the time on your plate, what are you talking about? No, I have not. I thought about going LinkedIn when I like was first thinking about focusing on, you know, I guess quote unquote larger corporations or bigger corporations, I guess, for contracting. But since I've kind of narrowed in on maybe just like smaller businesses, um, I kind of let the whole LinkedIn thing go, which is fine for me because I don't know. Like I said, I do like correlate LinkedIn with corporate America, and I
Hmm.
still have a little, I still have a little like, of being like in a corporate America setting and having to be formal. But I know that LinkedIn, they're trying to break barriers so that you don't have to be so formal and you be yourself. And I think that's incredible. I can't get over that mindset right now.
I hear you. It does still feel like the corporate world's being, within the LinkedIn arena, it does
Yeah.
feel more corporate-y, but also I feel like I've just had to push past that because it does. I feel the same. Um, but I want to start attracting more of my ideal client on there. And I've started to curate my list and remove people I don't feel are, maybe from my past that are no longer perhaps, you know, as relevant to my future. So yeah, I hear you about LinkedIn. I hear you about LinkedIn.
It's
Um,
all about connections on LinkedIn, right? It's all about like adding people. And I know that
yeah.
like it's more, I mean, it's kind of like Instagram that way, where you can just follow whoever or whatever, but like you both have to connect with each other. So, that's really
Absolutely.
cool.
Yeah. And on the theme of connections, let's dive into the podcast today. So we're talking about nurture emails versus promo
Yeah.
emails. And this is
Yeah.
a really exciting one actually, because both Angie and I work and do a lot of work in the space of both of these types of emails. But we want to break down, give you a bit more of an overview of what they both are, the roles that they both play, and just the balance between the two in terms of, when is it the right time to send a nurture email versus a promo email. So yeah, lots of content ideas here and lots of tips that we can give you. So let's dive in. Um, so yeah, let's start with the difference between nurture versus promo emails. Well, first of all, what is a nurture email? Do you want to have a go at this one, Angie?
Yeah, sure. I'll try. But you can certainly help me. I mean, as far as I like in my personal view, nurture emails to me are always about and establishing a connection and sort of like a customer first approach as you're creating an email, meaning that you want your goal is for the subscriber to get to know you, to like you and to trust you. So it's more about, yeah, establishing that connection and getting them into your sphere a little bit, but also making sure it is customer focused. So you're focusing on how does this benefit the customer? Why should the customer know about this stuff? How does this help them? So, giving value, helping them with tips, giving them some background context into your business. There's just a plethora of content out there, nurture content out there that you can use. And yeah, it's really just all about, making sure that the link between you two is strong. What do you think, Clara?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think, let's like if we were to take some steps backwards and say, right, so what has the client or customer done? They've signed up to receive your newsletters, your content. But as Angie says, they don't know you that well yet. So we want to start building that trust. And a great way to do that is through nurture emails. And usually these are flows. They don't have to be. Um, but this is about sharing ways in which you can support your ideal client through a nurture sequence and building that trust, building that rapport. Um, because remember, not everyone's going to know you in great detail, particularly if they're landing on your website for the first time or on your
Yeah.
social media. So
Yeah.
this is a great opportunity to tell them about yourselves. And also, we can look at how we can drive value and deliver great content to them that's going to really help them. So, some ways that we might want to think about effective nurture emails would be, what have we collected about them already that we can play back to them? So, a really simple one is, we already know their name. We can pull that in to make them feel, more special. But what else have we collected along the way? I mean, if you're just doing a simple onboarding, it might be that you don't know very much about them. And this is the opportunity to find out more. Um, so think about the value that you can deliver through your nurture emails. Remember, you're sharing your expertise, but also you're providing a solution to them and, showing how you've helped others through a nurture sequence. And then timing and frequency is key, right? We don't want to nurture someone 6 months after they've signed up for piece of content from us. We
Yeah.
want it to be fairly immediate.
Yeah.
Um, it's important, right? We want to stay in touch and build that connection. And we were just talking about some popular trending nurture emails. So, Angie, do you want to share some thoughts around this? What's really popular right now?
Oh, yeah. I mean, so I have a lot of clients who are in the e-commerce space. And what's really been hitting off is leaning more into what service providers do, which is like those letter style emails, more storytelling, a little bit longer form storytelling. and letters from the CEO or letters from somebody within your organization that you can kind of get to know, you know. So that's really what's been working in the e-commerce space is leaning more into these letter style emails about what's going on in our business. I had a client the other day who sent a very relevant email, a very timely email to her subscribers about a huge mistake that she made on her farm this time last year. And she knew that, you know, some of her subscribers are probably experiencing the same thing and wanted to make them feel better about it. So those types of emails that really let people in on what's really going on behind the scenes and also that we are humans and we make mistakes and we have likes and we have dislikes and we do things this way and that way. And I think those types of emails that also are also a little bit more vulnerable or a little bit
Mm.
you know, peel back the layers a little bit really do well with our audiences. But you know, that all depends on how you feel, you know, in writing your emails as a business owner, how much you want to let people in, you know, totally up to you. But I do see that working really, really well.
I love that. I think showing any kind of human side to you and your business is that these things always work really well. Like, yeah, you said here mistakes you've made. Um, Remember with nurture emails, the real key thing we want you to realize with nurture emails is that it's not about overt selling. We're not
Right.
going to put massive discounts over your nurture emails. We are think of it as meeting someone for the first time and getting to know them.
Yeah.
We want this as a space to get to know them and a space to get to know you. So think of it that way. You know, what would you say in those first few moments? And then maybe a follow-up meeting. So nurturing is important to build that relationship, and it has its role. And in fact, it's very important to build up that trust. Um, but when it comes to promotional emails, how are they different? So we want to share the differences between the two because sometimes people get these muddled up and think they might be even the same thing, but actually they're very different. So for promotional emails, it's really about your commercial objectives. So as a service provider, you're wanting to get someone to jump on a discovery call with you or to sell a course or your program. It's delivering your commercial objectives. So ultimately, sales. So we're trying to get someone to buy from you. And if you're a product-based business, it might be that you have a flash sale, it might be you have a special seasonal offer. This is very overtly commercial, and therefore we consider these as promotional emails. And they have a place, right? They have a place
Well, yeah, you
in,
got to make the money.
you've got, yeah,
That's why we have the list.
exactly,
You got
exactly.
to
So
sell too.
yeah, so these are the types of emails to think about. You know, as a service provider, what sometimes can happen is, and we'll come on more onto this in a moment, but the balance is slightly
Mhm.
weighted towards more maybe nurture emails or promotional. Um, and you know, if you've got a really strong promotional email, you can do really well, right, Angie? Like certain times of
Yeah.
year as well,
Uh-huh.
seasonal offers, you know, there's you can do so well.
Yeah, I
Um,
think also taking advantage of anything that's like trending, like currently, you know, as you are creating this email or as you're sending the email, you know, think of what's going on in pulp culture or
Mm.
whatever. Of course, it has to be in line with your brand, right? It has to be in line with your brand, the subjects and things that your brand would be interested in. Like if you're a sustainable brand, then, you know, of course, like Earth Day or any sustainability holidays or even things that are going on in the world, you know, you can send, you know, emails on you know, to kind of capitalize on what's going on and what your ideal audience is also paying attention to. So kind of we see a lot of success, you know, like when the Barbie movie came out, you saw a lot of, you know,
Mm.
promotional emails around Pink or the Barbie movie and things like that. Maybe that's kind of an obvious one, but it's because
Yeah,
those things work, and it tells your ideal audience that you're relevant, you're staying in touch with what's going on, and you're in touch with the things that they like too, which is very
absolutely.
important.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think thinking about like what your ideal client aw- um, is around them at the moment in terms of
Mhm.
what other things are they being exposed to that you could bring into your promotional emails to make them stand out. I mean, often with promotional emails, they're actually a lot more to the point. In some cases, in some retail brands just simply have like the offer and then a
20%
call to
off.
action. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like it's straight to the point. There's nothing else
Yeah.
to say. And the goal of that email is to get you to visit the website and use the discount code or take up the offer. So, in terms of the how to get the right content for promotional emails, think of it as being really direct, straight to the point. And this applies to service providers as well. If you have a special offer on, you can get straight to the point with what that is. Feel free to use images, but ultimately people want to know what is your offer? Um,
Yeah.
you know,
Because the whole idea is that apart from these promotional emails, you've been sending nurture emails. You've been
Mm.
establishing that connection. So as long as you have done your due diligence and welcome these people into your sphere, establishing this connection, getting them to know, like, and trust you, then the idea is when you send them that email that's like 20% off, they're ready to buy because that's the whole point. We're trying to get them to come down the funnel with our nurture emails so that they're interested in our products and they are ready to make a purchase.
Absolutely. And and that leads us on to, well, when is the right time to send a promotional email versus a nurture type email? Because I think a lot of people get stuck on this. They tend to either stay in the nurture space, where they feel safe, maybe around,
Yeah.
sharing about who they are, how they can help other people. Maybe it's more of a kind of gentle approach. Um, or you might find that you're in the other camp where you're just sending promotional emails and you're hammering your base
Yeah.
really hard with offer
Mhm.
after offer after offer. And actually, we suggest that you try and find the right balance with your audience and reflect on what you've been doing so far. Are you sending too many nurture emails? And be honest with yourself because
Yeah.
it can be quite surprising to think actually I am sending just nurture emails. And this is then linked to like, the sales you're making from your email list. Are you talking enough about the promotional aspects of your business in email? Have you got the balance right? And I think, both Angie and I, these are the kind of questions that do come up. And it's a great question that we ask is, well, how many nurture emails are you sending versus promotional? What are your thoughts, Angie?
No, you're 100% right. I think I find with most business owners that I'm working with and even myself, like I get caught up in this, um, that I have one type of email that I'm really comfortable with making and sending, and then I just like kind of get into a groove of kind of sending the same type of email. And I think what I've found as a contractor working in all of these different um, audiences is that people love variety. Like we what who buys from an email list? An engaged list buys. How do people keep engaged with your content? Well, you're switching up the content. You're giving them value, and then sometimes you're sending a promo, and then sometimes you're giving them a behind the scenes look. So actually having the mix is what keeps people engaged, people excited to receive your emails because you're sending them all this different types of content that hopefully it's speaking to, what they want to learn about, what they want to hear about. And then also once in a while, giving them a discount, giving them, a free gift or whatever it is for you in your promotion. So I think that's why it is really important to switch it up. If you feel like you've been, oh, maybe I have been sending, something, try something new, switch it up a
Yeah.
bit. Give your audience a little jolt in the inbox. They'll like it.
Ooh, I like that jolts. I think that's such a good point, right? You could get stuck in sending one type of email
Yeah.
and you're getting nowhere with your sales. So, or it might be that people are buying from you, but over time that's declining and you don't know why.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly what I mean, because why do businesses get stuck in the promo after promo after promo phase? Well, because
Mm,
promo emails are going to generate the most revenue for you. People are going
yeah.
to jump on that 20% off discount. So they're like, oh, I want to send another one next week and I want to send another one next week. But what happens after time is, again, you're not switching it up. So they know it's coming and it's not special anymore. It's predictable. And so
Yeah.
it kind of loses its luster.
Yeah. I mean, I worked in fashion and I remember when promotional offers came up, it was like a drug. Like you get this
Mm-hmm.
short-term boost, but
Mm-hmm.
then your margins are affected. I'm talking slightly bigger businesses here, but this applies to any business, right? If you constantly are on sale, does that align with your brand? Does that align with the vision you have for your business? Do you constantly want to be on promotional offers all the time? Think about how you could get the balance right. So if you're listening to this podcast now and you're thinking, actually, I sit in the promotional space where I'm just constantly selling, it's not too late to turn things around. And what you can do is start to switch it up, as Angie says, and try nurture type emails.
Yeah.
So think about how you can switch from being all about the promotion to all about nurturing your audience. So take a different approach. How might you get to know them better? What do you know about them that you can start to pull into the emails? What stories can you share with them that aren't just about pushing promotional emails on them? um it's
Yeah.
really getting the balance right, isn't it, Angie? Because some people find that they are the other side where they're just
Mm.
purely about nurturing. That's what would you say to
Yeah.
them?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I would say, I mean, bless you. I mean, because I'm the same. Like, I just want to give my audience so much value. I want to give
Mm,
my subscribers so much. And I think a lot of us service providers are like, we don't want to be just another email in the inbox. We don't want to bother people. We want to give like all this value. We want to really help people. But at the end of the day, like our email marketing is an asset to generate revenue for our business. And the way that we generate revenue through our email list is by asking for the sale, is by informing our audience that, hey, I have this offer available and you might not know it. I think it's also, we need to stop assuming that our audience knows about all of our offers or knows about our programs and knows the ins and outs of them. They do not know. They really don't know anything. And you can't guarantee that they know anything, even if you're showing up on social media, like because of the algorithm, you don't know if they're seeing your content or not. So you need to inform them. If people are reaching out to you and being like, oh, how do I work with you? It might be a good indication that you need to send an email, how to work with me. It could just be that simple, right? So start throwing in a little sales. You don't have to do it all the time, maybe once in a while, especially when you need a little bit of business. Just try it out and see how it goes for you. I mean, they're on your email list. They know you're going to sell them. So might as well just try it.
absolutely. And we want to talk about as well within this balance, like how to get the balance right, is also
Mhm.
about the importance of segmentation and targeting.
Yeah.
So what do we mean by that? Well, let's say there are different ways that people join your list. It could be that they are interested in something specific, like your lead magnet. It
Mhm.
could be that they have signed up for an event that you might be running. It could be that they've signed up for a special offer. So, depending on what people have signed up for, you can decide whether you send them promotional emails or nurture. But regardless of what you decide to do, just make sure you are giving each segment the right balance. So going back to why did they sign up to receive content from you? What was the goal for them? If it is just to get the offer, then they might be more inclined to want to receive promotional emails, but don't give them 100% promotional emails because it will put them off.
Right.
So when it comes to segmentation here, and you might have different audiences, think about the reason why they've joined your list and how you might be able to support them. But regardless, also think about where they are in your customer journey. So, for example,
Yes.
if they're quite new to your business, to your brand, they might need some more nurturing because they still don't know you. They don't necessarily have enough information about you to decide that they can trust you.
Right.
And this is completely normal, right? I mean,
Oh,
we
yeah.
we use these nurture emails as a great way to help someone get to know who we are.
Mhm. Yeah, and I know for service providers, tapping into your customers or your past clients, that's a really easy way to if you need to fill some spots or generate some revenue quickly for one of your offers, tapping creating a segment of, people who've bought from you before and then sending them a new offer or sending them like some information about something has always been a really great way for service providers to kind of make a sale quickly. So definitely utilize that, another segment to utilize well.
Yeah, 100%. And also, there's the other option of actually bringing the two together for your newsletter. So
Oh yeah,
you might have one scenario where you are nurturing them in your newsletter, but then you have a promo banner for a special offer. So there's nothing wrong in doing this. In fact, it's quite common and a lot of people do it. Just make it really clear about, ultimately what's the priority goal for this email? Is it to nurture my audience or um, is it to promote my offer? And that will determine the ordering of your email. So, for example, if the primary goal is to promote your special offer, put that at the top. If
right.
it's about nurturing, then make it all about nurturing with a secondary um, content block that is about your offer. So you can bring the two together. You can
Yeah.
bring the two together.
And you can even weave in, like if you're doing a nurture email and say it's, a letter style email where you're telling a story about, something that's going on in your business, you can weave in your products or your offers as you're telling the story just by linking, whenever you mention like something that like makes sense. And, that's also a great way to deliver nurture. But if because a lot of times what I find is that nurture emails do prompt sales for my clients because
Absolutely.
it's like people are like, oh, yeah, that's a great idea if you're giving them tips or something like that. Or like, oh, yeah, I want to try that. How can I try that? How can I take it a step further? So if you just like naturally like link in for those people that maybe are interested in next steps, that's a great way also that you could, flip a nurture email when the intention is nurture email, which is totally cool as well.
Yeah, and you've made a really good point, Angie, that we haven't covered, which is just around the whole idea of nurture and promo being on different ends of the spectrum. Nurturing emails are building up to the sale.
Yeah.
So think of it as stepping stones. Remember, I said earlier, someone may have signed up to your list, but they don't necessarily know anything about you yet. So think of maybe walking up a staircase. People need to take certain steps before they buy your product, book a call with you. And so those nurture emails are steps towards booking a call, ultimately the sale with you. And it might take some people, I've had someone on my list for over a year and it's taken them that long. And that's typical actually for some
Yeah.
people that it can take them a while.
Right.
Others, they see you straight away and they're in.
Right.
So some people, everyone's different in terms of how long they need to be nurtured. But think of your nurturing email as supporting your promotional efforts. Um, but without, promotional emails do have that instant short-term uh, kind of gratification. You get that instant sale and that's great. But the nurture type emails are the kind of the longer term strategy towards more sales in the future. So they work well together, but they also have their individual roles to play.
Right.
We hope that makes
Because
sense, right?
no, it does make sense because, we don't want someone to just buy from us once. We want them to come back time and time again. And they're going to come back if they have a strong connection with you. They're going to come back if they really, really like your brand, if they believe in the same things that you believe in, if they trust you, if they've had a good experience with you. And that's the type of content that your nurture emails deliver. So it ensures more long-term success for you and your business.
It really does. It really does. So it just to kind of recap, really, the balance between your nurture and promotional emails. Take a look at how you're currently doing it today and actually start to look at some of the emails you receive from other businesses and spot whether you can tell if it's a nurture email or a promotional email. You'll find actually some brands are just purely promotional, and it's going to
Yeah.
be obvious to you which ones
They're going
those
to have
are.
high turnover, you know?
Yeah, high unsubscribe rates as well.
Yeah.
Um,
Gotta watch
so
out for that.
yeah, and then on the other side, you'll see those that are nurturing, and you'll see how they nurture. So that's a good one just to see how others do that within the inbox. So yeah, we've talked about the difference between promotional and nurture. We've talked about getting the balance right. We've talked about how to bring them together for your newsletter. We've talked about some trending nurture emails and trending promotional emails, what's popular right now, and actually how to address the when it's at the right time to use a nurture email over a promotional email. So in effect, we want you to think about your own balance and look at, how can you address the imbalance that you might have. And we'd love to hear how you get on with perhaps introducing more promo emails into the mix, mix it up a bit. Maybe your audience are waiting for you
Yeah.
to bring an offer out, and naturally they're just waiting for that next email from you. So if you're feeling like nervous about doing it, we say just try it and see, because you
Especially
never know.
if you've been nurturing for a while, green light, send a sale email. There's to me like there's really nothing, there's no consequences. I mean, sure, you might get some unsubscribes, but we're going to get unsubscribed from every email that we sent, right? So just give it a go because you've been nurturing, you've been giving them value. So I feel like it's a good reason to give it a go.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I want to leave you with on this, as we start to wrap up, is sometimes this imbalance where you're sending too many promotional emails or too many nurture emails is the one thing that is holding back some businesses from making a success of their email marketing. I
Yeah.
gave some feedback to a client a few months ago. I asked them the question about the balance. They realized that they were sending too many promo emails or not enough nurturing. They readdressed, and it changed their the sales that they started to make from their list. So it can be something as simple as this, and we really encourage you to look at it and let us know if you have any questions. We'd love to hear from you. How did you get on with reflecting on where you're up to, what you'd like to do differently, and how that first promo email went or the first nurture email? We want to hear from you. But thank you so much for listening. That's everything we have for today. We look forward to hearing you and speaking to you at the next episode. And thank you so much. Thanks, Angie.
Thank you. We'll see you guys next time.
Take care. You've just listened to Females Across the Pond and Beyond podcast with your hosts, Clara and Angie. If you like our content, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review us on the platform of your choice. Is there something you want to hear about for our next episode? Email us at femalesacrossthepond@gmail.com to let us know. Until next time.